Hi, everybody. It's Harvard lawyer Lee. I'm going to be breaking down the secrets of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial today. Unless you have been under a rock, you have probably been watching the trial, talking about it, thinking about it. It has been an absolutely wild ride. So, today I want to talk about three topics. The first topic I want to talk about is who are the very worst possible witnesses in the case so far, and who are the best witnesses so far. I also want to talk about whether or not Amber Heard is about to lose the case to Johnny Depp. And then finally, I want to answer some of your questions about the case. So let's start with the witnesses. Who are the witnesses who are really bad, just really the worst? And I think there are some standouts in that category, but I think the people I think are some of the worst may surprise you. I'm taking it from a legal perspective. And specifically, I'm looking at it from the perspective of the person who is offering the witness. So, in other words, if it's Johnny Depp offered the witness needs to help Johnny Depp. If Amber Heard offers the witness needs to help Amber Heard. So, the first witness is that I think really was problematic for Johnny Depp, even though the witness was offered in Johnny Depp's case, is Laurel Anderson, the marriage counselor. She concluded that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard mutually abused each other. She did say some things that were positive for Depp. For example, she said that Johnny Depp tried to walk away, that Amber Heard just came after him and provoked him. So that was helpful for Johnny. But I think the fact that she came down on the side of believing that they were both abusing each other is really harmful for Johnny's case. Then the other good thing, though, that she said for Johnny, I thought Amber's comment that was in the doctor's notes, which was, will she have advantage if she leaves him but files with police for abuse first? Wow, that was really a big comment. That was very powerful because that kind of comment means that it can be used on cross, which we'll be hearing next week, to say, Amber, isn't it true that you just made up the abuse claims because you thought it would give you an advantage in the divorce? That will be the subject matter of cross. And that note really was helpful to them. Still, I thought overall the comment about mutual abuse was very harmful for his case. So that's why I put her on the worst list. The next witness I think will really surprise you. I thought Dr. David Kipper was one of the worst witnesses for Johnny Depp. Dr. David Kipper was Johnny Depp's private doctor. He diagnosed Depp with numerous disorders like bipolar, substance abuse. I didn't really think any of that was all that harmful. I guess it was harmful in the sense that it certainly made Depp look like somebody with a serious substance abuse problem. But he did say that Johnny Depp tried very hard to get off opiates, which contradicted what Amber Heard's lawyer had said. You may remember that in the opening statement, Amber Heard's lawyer said, Johnny Depp brought this on himself because he absolutely refused to get sober. And David Kipper's evidence said, well, he sure was trying. He may not have been successful or may have been, but he really tried to get off at least opiates. So I think, though, the biggest reason that I put Dr. David Kipper on the list was because I felt like Johnny Depp said he told Dr. Kipper that the real way he got his finger cut off was because Amber Heard threw the vodka bottle at him. And Dr. David Kipper mentioned that he'd heard that, but didn't firmly come on board with, yeah, Johnny Depp told me that. And that's, he told me that at the time, which I think would have been helpful. And the third witness, and this probably won't surprise you, is Debbie Lloyd, Johnny Depp's nurse. And people called her at the time the I don't recall witness because she just said, I don't recall, I don't recall, I don't recall to virtually everything. And that made it difficult really to even follow her testimony, and certainly meant she wasn't as helpful as she could have been on that. So I thought, she also talked about having actually been present looking for the missing piece of Johnny Depp's finger in the home in Australia. She talked about the writing on the walls, but because she was so reluctant to testify, it just didn't come across, I don't think, in a real powerful way. So, and then I want to talk about some of the witnesses I thought were really good for Johnny Depp. I loved Isaac Baruch. I just thought he was a fantastic witness. He was earthy and believable, humanized Depp. And I thought that was really important. I didn't think Christy Dombrowski was a great start to the trial. She just wasn't as strong a witness. And she was sort of defensive in the way she handled the cross-examination. But I thought Isaac was fantastic. So I would put him on the really good witnesses for Johnny Depp's side. He also testified that he didn't see Amber Heard having any bruises. And I thought that was important. Another witness I would put on the really good side would be Travis McGivern. He was a member of Depp's security team, you may remember, and he testified that he saw Amber throw a can of Red Bull at Johnny Depp, then throw a purse at him, then spit on him, and then punch him. The reason why I thought his testimony was so important was because he was actually one of the first people to say, I saw this. I saw her abuse him. I thought that was really important. I also would put Dr. Shannon Curry way at the top of best witnesses for Johnny Depp. She was the forensic psychologist who was hired by Depp's team and talked about her main thesis was that Amber Heard had really exaggerated her symptoms of PTSD. So her claim that PTSD was part of her damages just wasn't a very good claim. But I thought the more important testimony from her was all of the stuff. It was a lot. She talked about she herself would diagnose Amber Heard with histrionic and borderline personality disorder. Both of those are very serious disorders. And then she went straight to the heart of whether or not Amber Heard was a credible witness, right there with her testimony. So she said, what are the characteristics of people who would have this disorder? Explosive anger when somebody needs space. She said, well, that was exactly what Johnny Depp was saying supported his case. He had been saying, Amber would come at me and I would try to get away. So supported that. Said the person would be concerned with their image, very attention seeking, and often very attractive. Also supported Johnny's thesis that Amber really just wanted to do all of these accusations against him so that she could get an advantage in the divorce. And then when it came to the Washington Post op-ed, so that she could get more publicity around that. She said it could be very predictive of a person who's abusive to the other party, and talked about that kind of personality would have a temper coupled with a charming and personable nature, which many of the witnesses talked about for Amber. Said that person would be very full of rage and intense fear of abandonment, also directly supported Johnny's case. So, but when it came to her biggest testimony was that she thought Amber Heard was in the 98th percentile for intentional exaggerating, meaning she had engaged in extreme levels of exaggeration. So the next witness I would put on the really positive for Johnny Depp's side was Terrence Daugherty. He was the ACLU COO and general counsel. Some of what he said, he talked about the ACLU wrote the op-ed with Amber Heard. He also very importantly said that the original draft included Johnny Depp's name. It got pulled out by Amber Heard's lawyers. And one of Amber Heard's arguments had been, you don't know this is about Johnny Depp, even though it talked about domestic abuse and sexual violence. That could have been a long time ago. And so it said 2 years ago, but it could have been somebody else. It never mentioned his name. But that brought it right back into, no, Amber Heard was writing about Johnny Depp. He also is the one who brought out that she had timed the publicity of the Washington Post op-ed to coincide with the Aquaman release, her movie. And that will go straight to Johnny Depp's argument that she had an intent to defame him, that was one of her purposes. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence, I did a full video on this. Please check out my video, Amber Heard's $7 million charity lie. The ACLU, he said, got less than half of the money they were supposed to get. Amber promised that she would take the $7 million she got from Johnny Depp in the divorce and divide it among two charities. One charity would be the ACLU, the other, an LA Children's Hospital. Well, what happened was she gave $350,000 that first year to the ACLU. And then there were some other payments, one from Johnny Depp and two from funds, one of which was pretty definitely the ACLU thought controlled by Elon Musk, the other one possibly controlled by Elon Musk, that added up to more, but she didn't really give all of that money. So I thought that was really powerful testimony. I would definitely put him in the good category. Then, and most people probably wouldn't have picked this out. This is sort of the nerd lawyer in me, but Jack Wiggum was a fantastic witness for Johnny Depp because he talked about the damages. He really brought home the damages. Johnny Depp has said, I lost all this business because of what happened, the Washington Post op-ed that Amber Heard wrote. Well, Amber Heard and Heard's team in opening statements said, you know, you were going to lose Disney anyway. You weren't going to get Pirates 6. They'd already had a dossier on you, and it didn't even include this. They already thought they weren't going to hire you, and you weren't going to work for them anyway. But Jack Wiggum said, I personally negotiated a deal with Disney for $22.5 million for Depp to be in Pirates 6. And that's customarily done in this business. You negotiate it up front, and then you take the last, then you take that, you send it to the lawyers, they write it up as a contract. But it was a done deal. The only thing left was signing the papers. So I thought that was super positive for him. Then we flip over to Amber's side of the case. So I would give, you know, a best witness, worst witness list so far, but I have to put both of her witnesses so far on the not a good witness list. I thought Dr. Don Hughes was really a big fail for Amber, really a problem because everybody was waiting for that first witness. You know, the first weeks of trial had been, you know, all Johnny. And then now we've got Amber's first witness up. And Dr. Don Hughes just didn't bring it home, I didn't think. She was so defensive, and she was clearly annoyed with the judge. She was annoyed when she couldn't read from her notes. She just seemed inexperienced and annoyed with the whole process. You may remember the time she looked at the jury and went, but that's not, you know, you don't want that from your expert witness. So I thought that did not bring the great start to Amber Heard's case that she really wanted. And then Amber Heard, so many people and have concluded that she just was not very believable, that her testimony didn't come across as sincere. It seemed more like she was exaggerating, that some stuff she said was clearly false. And, you know, I would say if you were to poll, you know, 50 people who certainly YouTube subscribers, most people just feel like she wasn't that great a witness. But, you know, I do have to go back to what the UK judge wrote, because not everybody, not every juror is going to feel like most people do. What the UK judge, Andrew Nichol, wrote, he said, and he heard from Amber, heard from Johnny, and many of these witnesses. He said, I accept that she, Heard, was the victim of sustained and multiple assaults by Mr. Depp in Australia. It's a sign of the depth of his rage. I mean, this was harsh, that he admitted scrawling graffiti in blood from his injured finger. And then when that was insufficient, dipping his badly injured finger in paint and continuing to write messages and other things. I accept her evidence of the nature of the assaults he committed against her. They must have been terrifying. I accept that Mr. Depp put her in fear of her life. That's what he concluded. So while certainly most people watching this week's testimony would say Amber came across poorly, and I'm putting her on the not good for Amber Heard list. But I think, you know, there is a possibility that some jurors are going to think just like that particular UK judge did. And some jurors may believe that. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I would have to put both of her first two witnesses on the just didn't bring it home for you list, just not good witnesses list. And we haven't even gotten to cross yet. So that should be even worse for Amber Heard.